Robert F. Smith sat back in his chair, a satisfied smile on his face. He had just closed the deal on his latest acquisition, a small software company based in Silicon Valley. It was the 500th company he had acquired since starting Vista Equity Partners over 20 years ago. As he looked around his spacious office, decorated with art and memorabilia collected from his many travels around the world, Robert felt a sense of pride in what he had accomplished. Vista now held over 70 companies with 70,000 employees in 175 countries, managing over $100 billion in assets. They were a top 5 enterprise software company, and their success was based on a well-defined system for growth. This is the great story of the software king Robert Smith, the tech giant rising to top software's ownership. Robert had stumbled upon this system quite by accident. He had started his career as a banker, but he had always been fascinated by software companies. One day, he met with the founder of an auto dealership software maker and discovered that their margins were way better than other software companies. They had systems for everything, and Robert saw an opportunity. He told them to buy other companies with their cash, but they told him to do it himself. And so, in 2000, the Brockman family committed $1 billion, and Robert started Vista. They were the sole investor, and most of Robert's Goldman Sachs colleagues thought he had lost his mind. Back then, banks wouldn't lend to software companies because they didn't have hard assets to borrow against. But Vista persuaded banks that subscription-based businesses could tolerate debt. Robert's first buyout fund returned 29.2% annually net of fees. "Software contracts are better than first lien debt," he explained. "A company will not pay the interest on its first lien until after they pay its software maintenance or subscription fee. We get paid our money first. Who has the better credit? He can't run his business without our software." Vista's secret to success was their 110-point playbook. It was a closely guarded secret, known only to a select few in the company. By sticking to the rules in the playbook, their software companies would transform, and with some leverage, Vista would get amazing returns. "We don't underwrite to hope. We underwrite based on critical factors for success under our control," Robert said. Most of the best practices in the playbook were 3 to 10 pages long, with tons of attachments and examples. They were now numbered in the hundreds of PDFs and printed out, filled binders. The playbooks were stored in a password-protected online library, available only to authorized portfolio company managers. Even the top execs of portfolio companies only got access to the sections they needed to know about. Sales could see sales. Marketing could see marketing. Vista was a factory, and a deal came in. It was compartmentalized. Vista applied experts to each piece of the company, and after it went off the assembly line, the margins were higher. Cost-cutting was critical to Vista's model, and they moved from expensive cities to cheaper ones like Dallas. Many employees wouldn't make the move, allowing Vista to hire cheaper replacements. Robert had always been interested in efficiency and optimization, and he had built his playbook around that. He had a system for everything, from product development to sales to customer support. And it was working. Vista's software companies were thriving, and Robert was becoming increasingly wealthy. But as Robert sat in his office, surrounded by the trappings of success, he couldn't help but wonder if he had missed something. Was there more to life than just buying and selling software companies? He had everything he could ever want, but he felt like something was missing. One day, he decided to take a break from the office and go for a walk. As he walked, he noticed a group of homeless people huddled under a bridge, seeking shelter from the rain. It was a stark contrast to the wealth and opulence that surrounded him every day. Robert felt a pang of guilt as he realized how much he had and how little he had done to help those less fortunate. He had always believed in giving back, but he had been so focused on building his business that he had neglected that part of his life. As he continued to walk, he thought about his upbringing. He had grown up in a middle-class family in Denver, Colorado, and his parents had always instilled in him the value of education and hard work. They had also taught him to be grateful for what he had and to give back to his community. Robert realized that he had strayed from those values and that he needed to make a change. He decided to use his wealth and influence to make a difference in the world. He wanted to do something that would have a lasting impact, something that would help people and communities for generations to come. He began by setting up a foundation that focused on education and providing opportunities for underprivileged children. He also started investing in affordable housing projects and working with local governments to improve infrastructure in low-income areas. As he became more involved in philanthropy, he found that it gave him a sense of purpose and fulfillment that he had never experienced before. He realized that there was more to life than just making money, and that he could use his wealth to make a positive impact on the world. But he also knew that he couldn't do it alone. He needed to bring others along with him, to inspire them to use their resources and talents to make a difference in the world. He began to reach out to other successful entrepreneurs and business leaders, encouraging them to get involved in philanthropy and social impact. He organized conferences and events, bringing together like-minded individuals to share ideas and collaborate on projects. Through his efforts, Robert became a leading voice in the world of social impact and philanthropy. He was invited to speak at conferences around the world, and he was recognized for his work with numerous awards and accolades. But for Robert, the most significant reward was knowing that he was making a difference in people's lives. He continued to push himself to do more, to find new ways to create positive change in the world. As he looked back on his life, he knew that he had been blessed with many opportunities in life, and he was committed to using those opportunities to make the world a better place. And with that thought, he got up from his chair and headed back to work, ready to continue his mission to create positive change in the world. This is Tech and Butter. Subscribe for more tech videos and startup stories.